What about what my fists do? What about my size 12 up in your ass? Put some Lulu on his butt. Lululemon. I don't know why that song is stuck in my head, but it's where we're at. Okay, so if you see my laptop in the back, let it be that. I think the light in the back adds some dimension, right? Or should I cut it off? No, I think it adds something. I don't know. So I'm coming to you guys. Because I love filming in the natural light, and I realized that there's 2 videos I need to film. I'm going to attempt to film one if I have like 30 minutes left on the clock, and I will film the second one. Now, this is something that I just randomly came up with because I realized that there's a July reset that I wanted to do, but I haven't had any energy to clean. I broke my nail pretty badly, so I got this raggedy, this bandage on it. Today, we are going to talk about book tropes you don't like. I don't know if I'm going to do book tropes I do like, but we're going to talk about book tropes that you don't like. I'm wearing my new book band shirt. It has book banding on the back. Y'all know about book banding. You don't need me to tell you about it because it's everywhere. And if it's not everywhere, I'll put a link to pen.org in the description box below where you can see how many schools people are banning and resources that are available to help you support libraries and other resources to support the authors who are impacted by book banning. I don't know why I couldn't get the word out, but I was able to get it at some point. So 7 days ago of this filming, I posted on my lovely YouTube community post. Yeah, I posted, what's a trope you don't like and why? And I got 24 comments. Usually in the past when I've posted stuff like this, y'all have been crickets. But now y'all got something to say. And you know what? I love that for y'all. So I didn't go through. I think I responded to one comment being like, I'm making this a video. But I'm going to just randomly choose some people and then screenshot them, because if you guys want a part 2, I can give you a part 2 as well. So let's start with Aaron. That's the first one I saw. Aaron post says, in romance, I'm not a fan of second chance. In mystery, I'm sure it's a trope, but I don't like it at all. And this is the thing. Same. To a degree. So like if there is some books that you're like, okay, it didn't work out the first time, the protagonist is getting in their own way of them receiving love, but not in like a traumatic way. Like I'm trying to think of a book, and hopefully I can talk about other books too when I'm reading it. But there is this romance that I read called, it was called Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop, and I love that book, 5 stars. There was a part in the book where the 2 love interests split, but then found themselves back to them. So I don't know if that's considered a second chance, but I found that to be like, okay, well that makes sense. Versus I've read books where it's like some type of abuse happened or something happened that I wouldn't be giving nobody a second chance to. You ain't gonna spin the block on me. And I'm just like, why would you write that? So I guess like it really depends on the nature of the second chance. But usually I'm not a second chance girly. I was a second chance girly when I was dating like in my late teens. And I would even say to maybe mid-20s, I was a second chance girly. But now you waste my time once, 10 times out of 10, you're going to waste my time again. So I ain't even trying to spin no block. Actually, I don't even know how to spell spin the block. Spin the block, hate to see me coming. Okay? The second one that I just randomly chose, I don't know. Okay, so there's 2 of them. I'm gonna talk about them both, but I'll talk about the first one. So Rochelle Reeves says, if shadow daddies was a trope, maybe there are, eye emoji, That'd be one I can't stand. But I'm also increasingly disliking enemies to lovers. It's way too overdone, and most of the time they aren't even enemies. Enemies to lovers is automatically a trope that makes my ass itch. And I feel that way because why are you trying to convince me that the two people or three people, however many people are in this love triangle, are just like being rough, like rough housing, or just making fun of people? I am a sensitive person. You can ask anybody who knows me. I'm a sensitive person. You can't be talking shit to me and then be like, well, what that mouth do? Huh? What about what this axe do? What about what my fist do? What about my size 12 up in your ass? What about, what does that do? I don't play those type of games, because a lot of times I'm reading enemies to lovers, and it's usually the male protagonist being overly rude, being so mean to the female character. And that's if it's just, you know, a heterosexual thing going on. I don't like the trope of them being an asshole and then now they're in love and we're supposed to forget everything. That is a question, not a question. That's a concern I had for Real, written by, who was Real written by? Kennedy Ryan. Real, I really liked the book, and there was a part where the main character, one of the main characters who is a guy, so it's two love interests, a woman and a man. And the man, he was saying like, I'm never going to date an actress. I don't want to date an actress. I'm cutting that shit off. I'm not even getting involved, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, we're setting this up for him to be really mean to her. And that didn't happen. I was really shocked that didn't happen. And that made me like the book more, because it's like, you can set up a boundary and be like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. And then find someone and then realize, well, there's no need for me to be an asshole to them because they're not like my previous partner, or they're presenting a different version of themselves that I'm attracted to, or whatever it is. I don't like it when characters and people in real life be like, well, these people hurt me, so you're gonna hurt me, and I'm gonna put up all these walls and be a complete asshole to you, because if they hurt me, so were you. And I understand that traumatically. I understand that as a therapist. I also understand that as a person who have multiple traumas have happened in her life. But I don't think everyone is out to hurt you. So when authors write in that extreme, it really, really calls bunions to just grow all over my ass. And it just, ooh, I cannot stand it. MJLLW 2000 wrote, surprise pregnancies or heist. I hate both with a passion. Now, a heist, sometimes you gotta rob a motherfucker. I'm just kidding. But, you know, in a fictional world, sometimes you gotta do a heist. I, you know, thought the heist was kind of toxic, but I was also like, not too bad. When in Charmed, the TV show, Phoebe and Cole got possessed by these spirits that were kind of like Bonnie and Clyde, and their whole purpose was to go into somebody's body, get married so that they can be married in the afterlife. And to me, I just felt like, you know, is it twisted love? Yes. Did they have to rob all them people? That's what they felt they had to do. Did they have to kill those people? No. But, you know, I don't think of heist and be like, you know what? This shit is going to piss me off. But surprise pregnancies. I would have to know more of what you mean by that. Do you mean like these two characters are dating and one of them get pregnant? Or you're pregnant out of nowhere and you have to figure it out? Is it giving 50 Shades and Grey when she's told old boy she was pregnant and he said, no, the hell you ain't? Like what you, I would need more of what you mean about surprise pregnancies. Like what does that mean? Because sometimes a surprise pregnancy can be a blessing in real life or in a book to people, right? To me, if I got pregnant, I'm not even gonna finish that sentence because I can't even imagine. I can't even put that in my cabeza. You get what I'm saying? I can't even put that in my cabeza that I would be out here. pregnancy and me, we do not shake hands. Okay, we do not have an alliance. You hear me? So someone by the name of Jess R316, which is Jess, just said, pregnancy trope gives me the ick. I don't want to read about it. Cat.booknook said, I second that. And then someone else said, Wanda's Best Life said, for me, the worst pregnancy trope is when the woman decides she'll just do it all on her own without wanting to tell the man she's even pregnant. This isn't even just in romance books. So, you know, I haven't read enough of books that have pregnancy in it. I do know that if the pregnancy was forced, like if you were trapping somebody, that would completely piss me off. You'll see the seams of my jacket, of my sweater, just slowly unraveling as I descend into hell and become the devil himself. The devil himself. Because that's one of my worst fears. Like, that's why I don't gravitate towards those books, or those books haven't found me. I hope those books never found me. A pregnancy trope. Because I will take some shit out of context and be like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not the one for that. Because the moment a mug think that they can force pregnancy me, they're not going to like how I respond to that. Okay? Because I want everyone on this channel who's watching my channel to understand that I am pro-choice. Okay? Do not play those games with me. Do you hear me? And I also love how people are going for romance and, you know, just talking about it in romances. Also, back to Rochelle reads, I don't know what a shadow daddy is. Is a shadow daddy like a ghost who is, I'm about to say so. Is a shadow daddy a ghost who is trying to, you know, do the act of coitus with the person who is live and breathing? Is that a shadow daddy? I don't know what that means. Ooh, so I have one that I think I want to talk about next. So KTXS22 says, I hate an unreliable narrator, especially one who's narrating a mystery thriller book. It's sloppy and makes the reader distrust everything they do. The first few times it was all right, but now they all drink too much. It's frustrating, etc. It's frustrating. That is interesting because that's one of my favorite tropes. I love it when the narrator is got you questioning your own reality of how you are perceiving the book. Because I love it when reality is suspended. I love it when I just don't know what's going on. And I love when I can tell that immediately. Now, I have seen that there has been a trend of authors choosing to use unreliable narrators. However, like all things, I think there's an art to it. I think some authors do it poorly. I think some authors do it badly. Whether it's done poorly or not, I still be having a good time. But I can also understand how if you're reading it and it's done poorly, how you're just fucking irritated and over it. So I will say, like, there's multiple truths to what you're saying, but dang, I didn't know people were hating an unreliable narrator like that, because you even got some likes on this comment. So, you know, it'd be like that. Okay, so the last one that I'm going to choose was from Lizzie Bookworm, who said, Fated Mates, considering the types of books that usually have it in their correlations with gender, essentialism, and reinforcing gender roles and how hetero it usually is, I try to stay away from it. Yes, maybe they will mention in passing a same gender mated couple, but the main character / couple is typically hetero. I think heteronormative language is running rampant in the book community, especially when we're talking about fantasy, especially romantasy, or anything that has like that magical part, you know, to it. I feel like a lot of it is like male and woman, or if it's creatures, it's a male and female version of it. And I think when I say a lot of times too, that is what's most popularized. It's not like those stories don't exist. They are out there, trust me. but we tend to, as a book community at large, really fall in line with more like heteronormative kind of things, which is crazy because a lot of people love to claim allyship. A lot of people like to be like, I read so diversely. When you look at their books, there's a lot of heteronormative themes happening there. And I think a lot of us fall victim to it. Not victim, but a lot of us do it and it's unconscious. A lot of us do it and it is conscious. Either way, I think it's really important to call that shit out because it's there and it's rampant. I think that is why it is so good to have readers from said identity give those recommendations and like talk about those books, because I think it's important for you to feel seen, not only in the book that you're reading, but also in the reviewer. But I also understand like that onus should never just be on a queer person. That onus should never be on a person who have X identity. If you notice, even on my channel, it is rare in February where I give Black book recommendations. I know that a lot of times if I do it, it would be a very popular video on my channel on that time of month. But I don't just, it's too taxing. Like I don't want to have to always do that, right? And I did it this year, which is like very rare. I don't often do it, but it's just, it can be a lot on a person. Like even with Black Halloween, it's when people constantly ask me every year for recommendations, as if I'm not reading Black horror and Black thriller and Black suspense the whole year and I'm constantly giving you stuff. I wish people really looked in that search engine and search people channels for things and watch older videos than asking for things right away because it's not in the video that they're watching, but it's in previous videos. So again, I think calling that out is really important. I don't see a lot of romantasy with queer authors that are being uplifted and talked about. I see a lot of romantasy that has to do with hetero relationships. You know, I think of Fifth Wing. I think of Song of Trashy and Ashy. And, you know, it's just a lot. It's just like you could barely find those like popularized. Man, somebody today gave me a recommendation of a asexual queer romantasy book, and I literally am blinking on the name, and I should have wrote it down, and I was like, ooh, I want to read that, because as an asexual person myself, I was like, I would love to read that, but I didn't get a chance to write down the title. And also for me, even though I asked for trope and there's a lot of like romance stuff that y'all responded to, I don't even read a lot of romance. That's probably my least dived into genre. On average, you might catch, there's some years where I've never read one romance book, and then there are years like this year I probably read 10 maybe, and that's most than I've ever read. I did 2 video projects that required romance reads. That's the only reason why it's higher. But again, I think in any genre, not just romance, it's very hetero forward, and we gotta change that up, which is why I really liked the book called We're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kaylin Barron. I hope I said the title of the book right, because it is queer representation in that book that is very apparent, and it's a horror, and I love horror books that are queer. So with all that being said, these are some tropes that you guys don't like, my reaction to them. If you're interested in a part 2, I would definitely do that, because there's a lot that can be done. I can definitely do a part 2. But those are just a couple that I wanted to come in and check in about. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon. Bye!